My fellow Singaporeans, good evening, Selamat Sejahtera, Tatya Pang Wan Hao, and to all our Indian friends, Vanakkam, Desia Dina Valdekal. I want to welcome all of you at ITE College Central and also everyone watching from home for this year's National Day Rally. My first as your Prime Minister. Let me begin, as usual, in the national language. Saudara-saudari sekalian.
My fellow Singaporeans, tonight I am happy to be speaking to you in Malay at my first National Day Rally speech.
Yang pertama ini. Semasa saya kecil,
when I was young, my parents would sometimes converse in Malay between themselves. My dad was from Ipoh, and my mom from Kampung Amber here. So I am familiar with the language. But I did not manage to learn Malay properly. However, I am diligently learning it now. I hope that my Malay will improve. Thank you everyone for your encouragement. Over the decades, I have seen the Malay community make significant progress, in tandem with Singapore's own progress. I sometimes meet my Malay friends from the same schools I was in, Haig Boys dan Tiketek. They have done well and their children have grown up. Now among the younger Malays, I see even more who are well educated and who have distinguished themselves in their respective fields. I am even more heartened that they not only excel in their careers, they are also active in the community through MCube and other Malay Muslim organizations. I always enjoy spending time engaging our Malay youth and leaders. Recently, I had lunch with some of them to listen to their aspirations and hopes for the future. Some are pursuing exciting business opportunities, like Hafiz Kasman. This is he. He is the co-founder of an edtech startup which broke into the Indonesian market. Another is Dr. Muhammad Najat, a scientist at a biotechnology company which developed the first made-in-Singapore COVID test kit. Dr. Najat will be helping his company expand in Saudi Arabia. Success has many definitions, and we celebrate all of them. As someone passionate about music, I was inspired by Nabila Jalal's story. Nabila was the first Singaporean Malay to study at the Royal College of Music in London. She has set up a music school and provides arts education to underprivileged youth. Speaking of female leaders, I also want to highlight Gai Ghazali, the first female senior president of the Sharia Court. Her professional excellence and community efforts mark a significant milestone in the legal profession. She has paved the way for future generations of female leaders. They are all role models for the Malay Muslim community and also Singapore. We are proud of the achievements of these outstanding young individuals. Well done. We have made progress because of the long-standing partnership and trust between the Malay community, other communities, and the government. Over the years, the Malay Muslim leaders have worked closely with all our prime ministers, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, Mr. Goh Chok Tong, and Mr. Lee Hsien Loong, on many issues. From improving education attainment, countering radicalization and terrorism, to uplifting vulnerable segments. We have dealt with such issues head-on and with courage. Each time, the Malay Muslim community has rallied together, full of determination and with a strong sense of gotong royong. You have always looked out for each other and celebrated your successes together. Our newest project is the Singapore College of Islamic Studies. It will nurture our future Singapore Islamic leaders. I will share more details when ready. My fellow Singaporeans, as Prime Minister, I am committed to continue this close partnership. I value all your feedback and views. I will work with you to address the issues that are close to your heart. I will ensure that everyone in the Malay Muslim community benefits from our nation's progress and is able to play a full role in shaping our nation's future. I will support you in your efforts to build a Malay Muslim community that is modern and progressive, while still maintaining your distinctive customs and way of life. I will continue with our engagements and ensure our Malay Muslim community continues to make progress. Together with our Malay Muslim ministers, MPs and community leaders, I will work with you to realize our vision, the vision of a community of success. Thank you.
Good evening, fellow Singaporeans. This is the first time I am delivering the National Day rally as Prime Minister. However, this is not the first time I'm involved in the National Day rally. Around 20 years ago, when I was still the principal private secretary to former Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, I often helped him with his speeches. Look at that. We were both so young then. Now, SM Lee's hair has grayed. I don't know when mine will be turning gray, but I'm mentally prepared for it. Compared to working behind the scenes, it feels very different standing before everyone today. Personally, transitioning from the public service to politics and taking on the role of a minister was a very big change. However, the biggest change was when I transitioned from Deputy Prime Minister to take over as Prime Minister. In the past, I managed a ministry. Now, I lead the entire government and our country. I know this is a very heavy responsibility. I will do my best to fulfill my responsibilities and not let you down. Since Singapore's independence, under the leadership of Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, Mr. Goh Chok Tong, Mr. Lee Hsien Loong, and their teams, people of different races have worked together to overcome various difficulties and weather several crises. We were able to achieve this because of the mutual trust between the government and the people. This is a very precious relationship which we must preserve, regardless of how the world may change. I thank our seniors for their sacrifices and contributions. Their lives were difficult in those days, but they still did their best to take care of their families and the next generation. My mother is from the pioneer generation. Like many other seniors, she lived through the Japanese occupation and the early challenging years of our nation building. She had to work from a very young age to supplement the family's income. At that time, my mother's family still favored boys over girls. As a result, she nearly missed the opportunity to go to school. It was only because she persevered that she was able to study and eventually become a teacher. Having been through those difficult times, my mother has always been very frugal with money. Even after the family's income stabilized, she refused to hire a helper. She raised my brother and me while she worked full-time. She's over 80 years old now, but she still insists on doing everything on her own. Such self-reliance and resilience are the hallmarks of that generation. They never gave up when faced with difficulties. Whenever I meet senior residents during my community visits, I am heartened by their positive attitude. One example is Madam Liao Niet Kun, a 78-year-old resident in Limbang. She is very active, often leading residents in the community for morning exercises. She is also very independent. She will do grocery shopping on her own and help take her grandchildren to school. Madam Liao often organizes gatherings, inviting her neighbors to foster good relationships in the community. This generation has contributed a lot to the country and their families. The government launched the Pioneer and Merdeka generation packages to help them retire with peace of mind. In recent years, we have also rolled out the Age Well SG and Healthier SG initiatives to encourage our seniors to stay active. Please be assured that my team and I will continue to take care of your needs so you can enjoy your golden years. I understand you are concerned about the rising cost of living. Many countries are facing inflation. The reasons are complex. They include regional conflicts around the world in various regions and the global supply chain disruptions. We cannot control these external factors. However, we can try to provide some relief to help everyone cope with rising living expenses. Recently, we disbursed a new round of CDC vouchers. We also provided support such as the SNCC and utility rebates. We will continue to provide more support when necessary to lighten everyone's burden. I understand that many small and medium-sized enterprises are very concerned about the rise in business costs. While we cannot avoid the impact of external factors, the government can simplify compliance and regulatory processes to reduce business costs. I will explain this further in my English speech. At the same time, the government will do its best to help businesses restructure and transform so they may seize new opportunities that come their way. For instance, Heng Fo Tong Medical Hall in Bukit Batok. This traditional Chinese medicinal shop began operations in 1957 and is now managed by the third generation of the family. Look at this photo. That child, Zheng Xiang, is the third-generation son of the family. With the government's help, they used digital technology to set up a website and leveraged online platforms to expand overseas. These strategies brought in new customers and helped increase their revenue. In the past few years, the government has promoted the use of e-payments. We have achieved good progress on this. We can see more shops and hawkers adopting e-payments like Pay Now. With a quick scan on the mobile phone, customers can make payments. Hawkers enjoy both greater convenience and accuracy in tracking the revenue. Successful business transformation is dependent on effective employee training. Hence, I hope employers can take the initiative to upgrade their employees' skills. The government will provide assistance through Skills Future. Unions will also lend their full support. As long as employers, unions, and the government work together, coupled with the efforts of employees, Singaporeans will be able to keep upgrading their skills and secure good job opportunities.
Besides steady economic development, I also place great emphasis on the preservation of our traditional culture. Although English is our working language, we are fundamentally an Asian society, not a Western one. We want to preserve our Asian heritage and traditional values. For many years, our bilingual and bicultural edge has enabled us to draw the best from both Eastern and Western traditions. It has also allowed us to connect with countries from both the East and the West. This is why we have been able to maintain our unique competitiveness over the years. Therefore, the government will continue to work with all races to pass on our traditional cultures. An example is the recent launch of Culturepedia, which chronicles the unique features and developments of the Singapore Chinese cultures in both Chinese and English. I understand that the Chinese community is very concerned about the standard of Mandarin in Singapore. Many Singaporeans mainly speak English at home, including me. My father grew up in Malaysia, while my mother grew up in a Malay kampong here. So they did not speak Mandarin. Growing up, I too did not have the opportunity to speak Mandarin at home. I only began learning Chinese in school. This is why I had to put in a lot more effort to learn Chinese. Some of my classmates used to tease me for being jiakantang or westernized. Nobody expected it. But I scored A1 for my O-level Chinese. Even I was surprised. There was actually no secret sauce to my performance. I did well by resorting to rote memorization. Granted, it may not necessarily be the best way to learn a language, but it still provided me with a foundation in Chinese. After graduating from JC, I went to the US for further studies and did not have many opportunities to use Mandarin. After entering politics, I needed to communicate with Chinese Singaporeans in Mandarin. Thankfully, my hard work in school paid off, allowing me to apply what I have learned in daily life. My Mandarin has also improved over time. My experience is not unique. During my visits to China, I met several young Singaporeans who graduated from schools known to be more English-speaking. They included business executives, journalists, diplomats, and professionals. They seldom spoke Mandarin at home. However, they have built their bilingual foundation in school. After they started working in China, they very quickly became fluent in Mandarin. Clearly, our bilingual policy is very important. I hope more young parents can use Mandarin at home so that we can maintain our bilingual edge. My commitment is that the government will continue to support the cultivation of bilingual capability and encourage Chinese Singaporeans to speak Chinese from young. Today, primary 3 and 4 students can take higher Chinese language or HCL in several non-SAP schools, resulting in an increase in the number of primary school students taking HCL. Currently, if students wish to take HCL in secondary schools, their PSLE overall score must meet a certain standard. However, some do not meet this standard, but do very well in Chinese. I think we should provide them with an opportunity to build on their strength. Therefore, we will make a policy adjustment so that all students who are strong in Chinese can take higher Chinese from secondary 1. We hope to nurture more Singaporeans who are proficient in the Chinese language. In other words, more Singaporeans who are strong in not only English but also Chinese. Of course, this policy adjustment will also benefit students who want to take higher Malay or Tamil languages. MOE will announce more details at a later date. At the same time, the government will continue to support the Singapore Chinese Cultural Centre, our clans, trade associations, the Chinese media and other groups to actively promote our Chinese culture. Since entering politics, I have been interacting regularly with the Chinese community. For example, I visited the Singapore Federation of Chinese Clans and Association and met its council members over Teochew porridge. I also celebrated Chinese New Year at the River Hongpao and attended other events with the Chinese community. I cherish every opportunity for such gatherings as it allows me to better understand the Chinese community. My team and I will continue to support the Chinese community and its development. We will always stand by you. I strongly believe that as long as we work together, our culture can be passed on to future generations and become even more vibrant and diverse. In fact, Singapore's rich multiculturalism is like a plate of Hainanese chicken curry rice. The dish combines Western fried pork chop with Nyonya curry chicken, Indian curry spices, and finish with a serving of Chinese braised gravy. Such a unique dish can only be found in our inclusive and multicultural society. This is a dish enjoyed by many. Hence, I have specially arranged for Hainanese curry rice to be served at the buffet later. Of course, there will be Malay and Indian dishes as well. The Hainanese curry rice is a reflection of Singapore's unique society. Our various races each have their own vibrant culture, yet we are inclusive and united. This is what made Singapore what it is today. So long as we maintain this spirit, we can overcome any difficulty or challenge that comes our way. Moving forward as one, we will build a more dynamic nation and a better Singapore together. Thank you very much.